Hey guys, today I have this Chevy Equinox. It's a 2006 and the heat is not working. And I've diagnosed the problem to be the blend door. I've removed the glove box and I found that the blend door is actually broken where it attaches to the actuator. And so I'm going to show you guys how I'm going to pull the dash and replace the blend door. The actuator is fine because I removed the actuator and controlled the hot and cold buttons, and I could see the actuator moving. So therefore, I looked up and could see the blend door is actually split, and I will show you guys when I take it apart. So I take a small pick and I carefully pop that out just like that. If you look in there, there's a 7mm bolt. Now there's just one small clip holding this on, so you just, once you get that bolt, that screw out of there, you just pull it, and then these two tabs line up right in there. Pull that out. Now I'm going to work on removing the center console because that blend door is right there. Remove the center console. This is already starting to come off, but just because I already pried it off, just pops out like that. There's a couple bolts right there, and there's a clip right there. Take a small screwdriver like that and pop this clip out. That should be it for this side. There's one more screw right there. Next, you will have to remove this silver trim around the radio and heater controls. This is just clips and it just pops off. Lift up like this. You'll need to remove this. This one has a aftermarket radio, but the factory radio, you'll have to remove this to get at the bolts that are behind it. And you'll have to put your foot on the brake, turn the key, put this in neutral or all the way in low so you have enough room to get this off. You might want to set the parking brake while you do that. Alright, I got this in low gear so I have enough room to get this off, and now you need to unplug all these connectors for all of these buttons. So now the next step is to remove the radio. There's 4 screws holding it on. They're all 7mm. So the next step is going to be removing this underneath the steering wheel, this panel right here, and there's a couple screws on the bottom holding it on, along with some clips. Now you want to remove this vent panel right here. So I took out this vent panel here with a screwdriver. There's 2 connectors, and you also have to take off this trim bezel around the instrument cluster. Okay, I got the bottom piece off, the trim piece. There's another lower trim piece with 1 screw holding it on. Now you got to remove the instrument cluster. It's just 4 screws. Same size, 7mm. The next thing you got to do is remove this upper dash pad. There's a bunch of clips holding it on. And don't forget about these plastic covers, because there's also a 12mm bolt in there. Right in there. Pop this little cover off. There's one on each side. Those are actually 13mm, not 12. And for this upper dash pad, there's a sunlight sensor right there. Don't forget to unplug that. Right there. Now you need to remove this console right here. There's just a bunch of screws holding it on. And you'll have to remove this side cover here. There's a couple clips on the bottom right here that are holding it on. Okay, once you get that cover off, you had the airbag right here, and you're going to want to remove the negative post on the battery and let it sit for a few minutes before you disconnect the airbag. Okay, now I got this brace right here removed. You have to lower the steering column. There's two bolts holding it on. I think there's three actually. And what I am trying to do is pull this cover off, and I'm trying to leave the heater core and the AC evaporator in without evacuating and recharging or draining the coolant, because I'm at home, not at the shop, and I don't have a AC evac and recharge machine, and I'd like to not have to deal with it if possible. So I'm going to remove this outer cover. There's a bunch of screws around it, and then once I get this off, I should be able to get at the door. There's 3 screws on the top right here that are coming from the inside. Those are the hardest to get to on this, but what I did is you can move this out, you can wiggle this whole thing and just prop something back there like a piece of wood, and that gives you more space to get at those screws with a wrench. I now got the box back in. I replaced the blend door, as you can see. Here's a look at the old blend door. As you can see, mine was broken right there. Now, the new one comes with this sleeve because these like to split. So you put this over the new one around the shaft right here. Now, I chose to replace this blend door. There are repair kits available for this. It's like $100, but it's actually cheaper just to buy the blend door. And the repair kit is not 100% guarantee, and I didn't want to spend $100 and not have it may not work or may work. I don't know. I just didn't want to take the chance. I just replaced it. It's not that much more work, but I'm a professional, so to me, it doesn't seem like a lot of work. But you could get this done in a couple days on a weekend or something like that.